Hello, I'm Brian Rocks, and here is part 2 of the Modeling Basic series, where we'll go ahead and finish off the rough shape of the model here. We're going to go ahead and finish this front section, and to do that first I'm going to add a sphere for where the cockpit part of it is. I'm going to go into object mode. Shift C to center the cursor if it isn't already. Shift A, bring up your add menu, and we'll add a UV sphere. Now with a sphere, in most objects, you'll have the control options to tweak it to your liking when you add a new object to the scene. With the UV sphere, you have segments and rings. The segments just runs the longitude divisions, and the rings, there's your latitude, and you can just increase and decrease as you need. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at the default at the moment. You can also adjust the size and its location, rotation, etc. Actually, to do the rotation, let's do 90 along the x-axis. And you can also rotate along any axis as you scale as well. So if you hit rotate, you can hit X and it will just rotate along the X-axis, or Y or Z, respectively. Go ahead and hit S to scale. Bring that down there a bit. Gonna get in 7 top view, Z to bring the wire mesh out, and we'll move this down here a little bit. 1 to go into front view. Then we'll just scale it down so it reaches the, just matches the edge of this a little bit here, just to give us a reference point for the rest of it. Okay, looks good. Let's go to right click to select the front portion here. I don't have to bring up my reference here. Okay, so we're going to need to actually extend the edge out here. So let's go into front view here, tab into edit mode, Z to remove the shading, B to border select, and we'll just actually go ahead and delete this bottom portion here. So we're left with just the top half. I'm going to actually add a loop cut here. So Ctrl R or just select the loop cut option. I'm going to bring that up just to match that angle right there, that bevel edge. 1 to go into front view, and we'll A to deselect everything, B to border select, and just delete these vertices here. There we go. Now we want to extrude this this edge out along the front here. Down here on your selection options, you can the vertex selection, edge select. I'm going to shift and select both of these, so we can either select the edges or the points. So I'll select these 2 edges, so right click to select the first one, shift and right click that second one there. Go into front view, and E to extrude, and we'll just bring this out just along that edge. It doesn't have to be perfect at all, because what we're doing is just making this rough model as a reference point for your detailing later. Bring that up front here. Just right click to select that point, and we'll just drag that in so it'll go into the mesh later on. And see, might want to change this angle a little bit. So select this edge here, and we'll just drag that down a bit. Want to go into front view, and I think I'm going to have to change a little bit here. Hit B to border select this whole, these two points, and G to grab, and we'll just match that angle up a little bit there along this edge here. A to deselect everything. Alright, got a good start there. Let's see, bring up the reference again. Okay, I want to delete that front portion here. Gonna just select the face select, and we will delete face. Alright. One to go in the front view again. Alright, now let's get the bottom portion done here. First I want to actually add on this portion, I want to add a bevel on that bottom part here. So I want to go into front view, and we will tab in edit mode. I'm going to shift select both of these again here. I'm going to B to border select. I want to select these points and these points here. I'm going to bring that up just a little bit to match the angle on that bottom here. A to deselect, B again, and we will just bring that down along that edge. Okay, and A, and go ahead and deselect everything. Let's go to, let's do a loop cut here. So Ctrl R and bring it down, just match this top bevel here. So just approximate. There we are. Let's go 3 to go in the side view, select these 2 points and bring them back. There we go. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to need a shape to fill in this front part, and I'm just going to copy this and hack it apart here. So Shift D to duplicate in object mode. I'm going to just bring that up forward here. Tab in edit mode. 7 go in top view and border select this back part, and we'll just delete these vertices. So we have a face here. And we will go ahead and drag that back. Oops. Check reference here. And let's bring it in here. Scale it down a bit. Just okay. Scale that down, and actually we'll need to extend this face out along here as well. So let's go 1, go into front view. Tab in edit mode, and we will loop cut again. And just about right there, and do it a second time, and I'm just going to approximate at the moment. So let's select these 3 points, and we will E to extrude, and oops, I'm just going to drag that out this way. About right there, and actually select the top point and the bottom, and we'll just straighten that out a little bit. Alrighty. Looking good. Go in the top view here. I'm going to see if I need to change the angle, and I do. So tab in edit mode, select that little shroud there. Tab in the edit mode, and I'm going to bring these 2 back just like that. And I'm going to do the same with that face section that we just added here too as well. So just top view, tab in edit mode, and we'll drag that back. Oh, okay. And check the reference again. Okay, now let's do this bottom part. As you can see, this we can just add a cube, and this section here, I'm going to actually just copy that back part again, and we'll cut it up to fit how we need. All right. Let's go into tab in edit mode, deselect everything. Shift C again just to center your cursor in case you need to. Let's go ahead and add a cube, and scale that on down. Go 1 and go into front view. bring that, scale it down a bit. I'm going to bring it forward. Whoops. G to grab, and then Y along the Y axis and bring it out. And check the reference here. Okay. Let's go 1 to go in the front view. Z to get rid of the shading so we can see our background image, and scale this down here. Now I'm just going to scale it down, bring it down a little bit. 3 to go in the side view, and actually I forgot about that. Blocked off so we can't see, so let's go ahead and just bring this out. Yeah, that's good approximation here. Right, go ahead and right click, select this back part here, and we'll duplicate that again. And bring that forward. And we will delete these back vertices here. Okay, let's go drag this back a bit. I'm just going to go ahead and at the moment just match this front edge here. I want to go into front view again. Alright, let's actually scale this up just a bit. Kind of match the edge of where I got the background image there. Okay, tab in edit mode. And go ahead and select these top vertices and delete those. Select these vertices. We'll bring those just straight down here. And deselect that, and then go ahead and bring, whoops. I'm going to deselect that edge so I can just select the vertices here. We'll drag this in. Yeah. Okay, select the center one, we'll bring it down a bit. Okay, now we'll need to do a loop cut so we can have this this edge here to extrude out. So Ctrl R, and we'll bring that up about right there. And go ahead and border select, excuse me, border select that side and extrude those out. And there we are. I'm going to go ahead and just drag this one out a little bit there. There we go. Okay. Now it looks like I just need to extrude this back a little bit so we can close it off. And just, I'm going to go ahead and select these points here. Whoops. Actually, deselect everything, go into edge select mode, and we will select these edges. We will select this one and this one, and go ahead and E to extrude. Just right click to let it go back, and then grab the Y handle and we'll just drag that back. Oops, I'm going to drag it way back here. There we go. That gives us the bottom part of the fuselage. And actually, come to think of it, let's deselect everything. Do Ctrl 7 to go in the bottom view. Z to get rid of the shading here. And what we need to do is add a background image for the bottom since we don't have one yet. So we want to add image. Oops. Scroll that down here. And go ahead and open that and wherever you have your reference images. Go into the Orthos, and we'll go to the bottom. Alright, go ahead and set the view to the bottom. And it's nice and backwards, so let's go ahead and 2.5, scale that back down where we had it. Go into the top view again. Alright. Oops, I do have to change it. Excuse me. I'm going to turn it around here. Let's do it. Okay, as you can see, I have to flip this around here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And go back into the reference. And we'll open this, we'll flip it around. Let that update, and let's bring this back. Add image, and we will open that up. There we go. Now I'm going to have to scale it down to the rest of them, and I had that at 2.5. And yep, I'll have to move it. Nope, doesn't look like it. Suck. And I'm going to move it down along the, oops, around the y-axis here. 0.02, is that what I had that? No, it's 2.05. Negative 0.05. Negative 0.02. That's just a matter of tweaking. There we go. Let's try negative 0.025. Whoops, wrong way. Negative 0.015. There we are. Alrighty. That's good enough to give you an idea of where the placements are at and everything. Okay. And let's go ahead and rotate this back out. Select that bottom piece that we had just made. Ctrl 7 to go back into the bottom view, and go ahead and hit tab to go in edit mode, A to deselect everything, and then oops, go back into point view or vertex select and select those, and we'll bring those back here. And border select the rest. I'm going to drag these out, deselect, select these again, and just match that angle up a bit. There we go. Alright, looking good. And let's go back into our reference here. Now we got most of the big sections aside from the wings done, and these little cubes here. We can add those real quick. So I'll go ahead and deselect everything here. I'm going to go Shift C to center my cursor again. And Shift A to add another cube. Scale that down. Go 1 to go into front view. Yeah, look at that. Okay, one thing we didn't do with that bottom image, we'll need to restrict that just to the bottom view. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just do these little side cubes here. So just S to scale, Z to restrict that along the Z. Just match that up. Go in the top view, and we will drag this forward. Let's see, check the reference here. Match that, and we will go ahead and loop cut this so we can make that angle. So tab in edit mode, Ctrl R, and just bring that to that edge. And select all that and bring that in, and then select this front and drag that back. And we're getting there. Just bring it in a little bit here. So I'm gonna face select these and just drag those back to match up this image a little bit. Okay, and Shift C to center the cursor, and with that new cube selected, just check the origin, and we'll use the origin to 3D cursor so we can mirror this across. In your panels here, select the wrench, add modifier, and mirror, and you can just leave the settings as they are here. Alright, go check that here, and we can actually, excuse me, just use these same cubes and for these sections here. Oh no, let's just do new ones here. A little less geometry, not really necessary, but A to deselect, Shift A, new cube, scale that on down, just drag it across, bring that up a little bit. I'm just going to tab to go in edit mode, Vertex Select, select these guys here, just going to match that angle, and then we'll have to match the Z-axis, so I'll go ahead and just object mode, S to scale, Z, and we'll drag that down. Alright, check the reference here. I'm going to just move this in, whoops, front view again, and we'll just drag that back there. There we go. Now we're just going to mirror this across, so go ahead and origin and select the origin to the 3D cursor and mirror this, and there you got your copy. Now we'll just do this plate that's on the top here as well. So let's go ahead and add another cube, so deselect everything, Shift A, and bring this down and drag it up here, go in the top view, Z to get rid of the shading, and let's go ahead and just scale this on down. I'm going to scale it up, sorry. There we go. I'm just going to kind of match the corner edge and this top. Yeah, and that looks pretty good. And now we'll just need to make a couple of cuts here. Go ahead and Ctrl R and tab in edit mode first. And deselect everything, and then Ctrl R. And since we need 2 cuts, actually we don't, sorry. Just bring this down, cut this way. A to deselect and grab all this, and we'll just scale this in. Deselect that, select that front part of the cube, and we'll just scale that in along there. And you can see we have weird angles because I didn't scale along just the x-axis to bring those in. Quite alright. Let's go into side view. 3, and then we will select that and bring it on down. And select this, and there we go. And then you got that little portion there. And since this is, we don't need most of this bottom stuff, you're not going to see, so I'll go into side view here. We'll just bring that up, kind of get it out of the way. Cool. And there we go. And to add these other bits, whoops, bring that up here. It's the same process, and just add a cube. Maybe cut it, loop cut a couple times to get the angles you need. So let's go ahead and do that, and A to deselect all that. Shift C to center the cursor again. So I'll go into top view, add a cube, and scale that down. Just drag it back. And since I don't really have a good reference on these, just have to look at this. So. Okay. I'm going to the front view here. Actually, I'm going to go in the shading view. Drag that over a little bit. Okay, going to top view again, because we can see at least, the width of it here as well. I'll just bring it down. And that one reaches this front edge. So tab in edit mode, and, oops, deselect all that, bring that back here. So bring this in right there. Okay. Now I need a one cut just to kind of drag this in here. Actually, we'll need a couple, but I'm going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to border select all this, just drag this up, and then border select that and drag that in here. Okay, go ahead and loop cut, Ctrl R. Just do that, and we'll select these 2 points and drag those in. And then go ahead and shift select the rest of that, E to extrude, and we'll bring that up. And don't really worry about how high or how far, because we'll get the wings on and then we'll figure it out from there. So go ahead and, with your cursor centered in the middle there, hit origin and bring the origin to the center to the 3D cursor, and we'll add the mirror modifier. And now we just need to do this back piece. I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this. So Shift D to duplicate, and then drag that back. And we'll go ahead and 7, go into top view, and we will select all of that top, and just go ahead and match up the width on there along these lines here that you can barely see. Oops. Alright, and so we don't really need this top part. Let's go ahead and shift select all that, delete vertices, and now we need to actually fill this part in here because it's empty. So just shift select all this, hit F to add a new face, so that closes that off. And we just want to bring that angle down a little bit. So select these back 2 and drag that down. I'm going to drag these 2 down a little bit, and I'm going to drag these down. But again, and that's all up to you, so because you can just design it however you like. And since we already had the mirror modifier on this duplicated object, it's already set up for you. So that's all of those little pieces, and we'll go ahead and shift select this, just close this back end off here. Shift D to duplicate. I'm just going to drag this back, and I want to go into top view. Oops. Go ahead and select all those vertices and delete them. Select all these. I want to rotate these. No, I don't. Excuse me. Okay, now I want to just bring that. I want to flip this so the face is facing this way instead of forward. So go ahead and select all the vertices there. Go down here to Mesh menu and Mirror, and then you can mirror along the Y, and then it kind of restricts it along the Y-axis here, so you can just left click to select that. And now what that did, let's go ahead and just view the normals here. Oops. Actually hit Ctrl Z to undo that mirror. I'm going to go 3 to go inside view. Border select all these. I'm going to rotate that, and just hold the Control key down, and that'll lock it in increments of 5 degrees, and just go 180 degrees. Flip that over, and there we go. Now we got the faces facing out this way. And if you ever want to see which way the normals or the visible faces are facing, you can go over here on the properties panel, and in the mesh display under normals you can just check face normals or vertex, and it tells you which way they're pointing. So that's set for now, and we'll go ahead and just move this back and give us a little close that area off a little bit. Alright, looks good. Now we can get to the wings, which were initially no fun to do for some reason. So, because there was just a weird angle up front here that I had to kind of figure out which way it bent, so, and which way to actually have the lines go. So, but it should be fairly simple now that I've already done it. I'm going to go in top view. I'm going to show you a new way to model now. Z to get rid of the shading there, and we will add a cube. Actually, let's add a plane, and that just adds a flat plane there. And go ahead and drag this over here. Get rid of that shading. G to grab, and I'll just match that edge up. Okay, now you could. There's a million ways to do half of this stuff. So I mean, you can just grab these, and you can put your cuts in where you need to. We'll actually could do them both. So let's Ctrl Z to undo that and deselect everything. I'm gonna select these vertices and this one, and just leave this one here. So go ahead and delete all the vertices. Go ahead and select that, and now with that selected, you can hit Control left click, and that will add a new vertex, and you can actually just continue to do that to trace the wing out, and then you could use the properties panel here to line all these up as well, so you can get you want this one here, but you want this one in line with that, so you can select that, and you can actually just match, the dimensions on there. So it's at 0.01077, and that'll match that up. It gives you a little more control, precision if you want to just draw out your initial shape. We're gonna actually not do that, but that's just one way you can do this if you're doing odd shapes and you want to get a good quick outline, even if it's just as a reference, and then you can add, like, say, add a plane and then do the loop cuts for what you need. In this case, I'm going to tab in edit mode and go ahead and just delete that. Shift A again and add another plane. Bring that over here. I'm going to tab in edit mode, deselect everything, select these bottom parts, and just drag that about right there. And then deselect that and select these sides, and we'll bring that in here. Okay, and we need to do some loop cuts, so deselect everything, Ctrl R, and now we need 2 cuts, one here and one right here. So, and to do that, when you get along the face, along the edge that you want to cut, you can use your mouse wheel to increase or decrease the amount of cuts that you make. In this case, we just need 2, so we'll go ahead and roll that up there and left click, and we need to scale these out a bit, so S to scale and then Y along the Y axis. We'll just scale those out right there, and we'll need to move this one back right there. Actually, I want to move this edge out a little bit. There we go. So actually right click, select that, shift right click there, and we'll drag these back. Okay. Back in, just go ahead and select this, just extrude and drag that up here. Select this point and drag that back. Go ahead and select this line and, sorry, whoops, E to extrude, and then we'll drag that down here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and drag that. Yeah, just drag that there. Select this point here and drag that in. Select all that, and we'll E to extrude. I'm just going to match that up there. Match that up there. And then shift select that, hit W, and you can brings up your special options here. You can subdivide, you can do all kinds of things. In this case, we're just going to subdivide to give us a new point here, and we can drag that right down there. And I do want this line to be straight, so I'll just match the X position. Oops. Oops, just a second. There we go. Go ahead and select that point. Select this. Control C to copy. Select that point. Click on that again, and Control V to paste. And then there you go. You got your straight line here. But we do need, because since this is all flat, it's going to look fine. But since we have this kind of weird angles around here, we need to cut the mesh along here just so it folds without getting some weird bends in there. So I'll go into top view here, Z to get, oops, Z there. And what I want is basically a edge along here and not here. So what you can do is, I'm going to go ahead and edge select. Just select that edge. Going to delete just the edge. And you can see that took the shading away too as well. We can all fill that in later. Go back into Vertex Select mode, and I'm going to select these two and hit F to create a face. And that sets that angle there. And we can actually delete this, since now Blender can actually have polygons with more than 4. It's not restricted to just 4 sides. So you can model however you like and then fix it up after you're all done. So, because you can now triangulate it and have it finalized as a model with only 3 to 4 side polygons. But while you're modeling, you can actually make polygons with as many sides as you need. It frees you up a little bit and lets you worry about the modeling, and then you can finalize it later. So let's go ahead and delete this vertex here. Select this point, select this point, select this, and select that, and hit F, create a face. Even though that is not 5, that's still only 4. We're still in the clear, but if you wanted to have, say, select these 2 points and hit W to subdivide, and that will give you a new point, and you can see it didn't create, say, like an edge between there and there. And normally before Blender would do that, it would, if you subdivided a polygon, the edge of a polygon, to where the polygon would have more than 4 sides, it would automatically put a face in there for you. But you don't need to worry about that, because it just automatically lets you keep modeling and have as many points as you need, and then later on you can fill all that in and then tweak it as you need. So I'm going to go ahead and Ctrl Z to undo all that. And there we go. Actually, we need to fill this in. Select those, hit F to fill that in. Alright, got the beginning of our wing. 7 to go in top view. Now we need to get the 3 to go in the side view, and we need to get the odd angles of this wing going. So it's in edit mode, A to select all of everything. Just bring that up here. Okay, just line that up there. And I'm going to split the windows so I have a little more to work with. So up in the top corner, just click and drag this out. I'm going to close these options out. And go 1 to go in the front view. And I'm going to split it again. So left click on this top and drag it down. And I'm going to hit 7 to go in the top view. Okay, so I'm going to select these 2 back points here. I'm going to drag those up right there. Select just that one point, drag that up. Select these two. I'm going to select all 4 of these here. And we're just going to drag those up. Needs to match the top. And then select these outer points here, and we'll bring those right down. Okay, it's looking good. Let's go to this front point here. Bring that up about right there. Grab that outside corner, we'll drag that up. And actually that is matching up pretty good. Let's see what we got. Okay, and then that's your, if you can tab in edit mode. Okay, that's looking good actually. And we can see where we're got a little clipping here, and we can just bring that this cube object here. Go ahead and select that, tab in edit mode, and just border select these top pieces and just bring those down underneath the wing there. Deselect that. Okay, go ahead and right click and select your wing. Go ahead and go in the front mode, or front view, I'm sorry. And we will hit Shift C to center the cursor, and now we want this object's origin to be on the cursor. So go over on the side, origin to cursor, because now we want to mirror these wings. Go into the mirror modifiers in the properties panel here and go ahead and mirror that. And now we see we have that along the x-axis, but we also want it along the z as well, so we have the bottom parts of the wings. So just click on the z and it mirrors it for you there. And oops. And there you go. And then we got some almost a complete ship there. Looking pretty damn good. So all we really need to do is fill this in, which can be done real easy. I'm going to take this, I'm going to Shift D to duplicate, bring it forward a bit, go 7 to go in the top view. Go ahead and grab just those. I'm going to bring those down a bit and grab the rest of them and drag that down. I'm tab in the object mode. I'm just going to do this. Again, I'm going to grab this and just kind of make it as flat as you can. Deselect everything. Now you can see that we want this portion to be lower or inset a little bit from the front and the back part of the fuselage. So we'll 1 go in the front view, Z to get rid of the shading, and we'll A to select everything. And to do that, you know, we could just scale it, but that's going to scale it along the Z-axis as well, which will make it, you know, thinner, so we'll have an opening there, and we don't want to scale along the Z-axis. We just want to scale along the X and the or not the Z, I'm sorry, the Y-axis. We don't want this any thinner. So we'll scale along the X and the Z-axis. And to restrict that, and just S to scale X along the X-axis, and then Shift Z. And you see that it didn't do what we wanted it to. Hit Shift, S to scale, X to lock that, and then Shift Y. And then that will let you scale that down a little bit without changing the thickness here. So I'm going to do this in this view so you can actually see how much inset you want to do, and it gives you a little better view. So S to scale, X, and then Shift Y. And we'll scale that down a bit. Okay, just like that. Looks good. And then we need to just extrude out the sides there. I'm going to go ahead and Control R and, oops, not Shift R, Control R, there we go. And just drag that up a bit. Actually, let's do that. Control Z to undo that. Okay, I want to do Control R from this view here. And you can see this is the line I want to kind of, I don't want to bring it to that line, I just want to bring it down a little bit. So if you hit Z to get in the shading mode, I'm going to actually Control E now since I've already kind of set that loop. I've already set that loop, I want to actually slide it up a little bit. So Control E and pick Edge Slide, and then we'll bring that up a bit. And we'll do the same with the bottom. Even though that one's pretty much closed off, let's just worry about the top here. So one to go in the front view, I'm going to deselect everything. I'm going to select just, I'm just going to select these here. And then we'll just E to extrude. Right click to release that, and then G to grab. And we'll bring that down along the X here. And that's fine for the moment because you can always fill that in later. Do that, bring it down a little bit. And there you go, you got the little inset piece there. And that's all we need to do except the little engines, and that's super simple. So deselect everything, object mode, Shift A, and we will add a circle. And again, same with the sphere, you have the option to change how many vertices you have for your circle and its radius. We're just going to leave the default for now. Go ahead and S to scale that down. We'll go with 3, go in the side view. We're going to go ahead and rotate this 90 degrees, so just hit R and then 90 and then drag that back. And we'll just put it right about there and hit Control 1, go into the back view. And you can see basically the only circles you need are this one here and the hinge for the wings that actually open up. Let's go ahead and drag this over this way. About right there, and just scale that down. And you can see we need to, let's bring that in a little bit. Hit tab to go into edit mode, and then we'll just extrude all these to there. Actually, I'm just going to extrude it to there. Then we'll E to extrude again, drag that out, and then S to scale that down. Okay. Do Shift C again to center the cursor, and we will set that object's origin to the cursor, and we will mirror this as well. So we have both the little engines there. And let's go ahead and sorry, excuse me. Duplicate this object. Bring this over to right about there. And we only need just this portion of it, so we can Alt right click, and that will select the whole loop there. You can also hit Shift Alt and add to or subtract excuse me, subtract from the selection as well. So in that case, just Alt and right click to select all that. Delete, and we can just delete the vertices there. And that gives you the positioning for the hinge portion. And I'm going to go ahead and whoops, Control 1. Sorry, I was in front view. I'm going to just go in and grab this G to grab, and then X along the X axis. We'll bring that over, tab in edit mode, and we will scale that down a bit. Okay, looks good. And we want to set that object origin back to the center since I moved it around. And once you do that, it automatically adjusts the other mirror that you had there. Alright, and that's pretty much it for the roughing out. Let me see what we got in the back here. There's one little circle we can actually add. Whoops. Ctrl 1, and we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to add a circle actually. So just Shift A and circle and R90 to rotate it. Oops. Control Z, R, X, 90, and bring that back. Control 1 again. Let's scale this down to about there. Control 7 to go on top, or I'm just going to do 7 to go on top view. Drag that back a bit. Go and scale it down. And then tab in edit mode, extrude all this. And then, oops, and then S to scale, and I'm going to drag this out a little bit. There we go. Okay, and I think there's actually one more thing. If you hit Control 1, you see that we have have to bring the wings down a little bit on the back side. As you can see, they're just running flat. Tab into object mode, select that wing, and tab into edit mode. I think all we need to do is select these back pieces here. Let's go in the side view, Control 1, go in the back view, and let's see where this is at here. It's a little off from the background image, but I'm going to bring it down anyway, just to get a little bit of an angle here. Alright, that's the rough shape of this ship. I'm going to include, oops, Shift C. I'm going to include the blend files for where we started, and then also the finished rough shape as well. And so when we get on to detailing, if you don't want to do all the mess here, I see we do need to enclose the wing around in here for this little wall here. We don't really need to do that right now. We'll just wait till later for that. But we'll get on to detailing this in the next video. And so I'm going to include this finished rough out. So if you want to just start with that as well, you don't have to go through all the other stuff to get to this point. So any questions, comments, go ahead and ask, and thank you for watching.